When Jacob saw this, and then he woke up, he said to himself, and this is what I want you to get today, surely the presence of the Lord was in this place, and I didn't see it. Oh, can you get that? I know I'm not shouting and screaming and running today, but I want you to get that. Surely the presence of the Lord was in this place, and I knew it not. There are some of you that have been going through some things in your life, and you thought you were all alone, and you thought nobody cared, and you thought nobody was there to help you out. But what you didn't know is you were so blinded by other things, you did not recognize that the presence of God was in that place all along, and you didn't recognize it. You need to understand that He will be with you wherever you go, always unto the end of the earth. The Bible said, I will never leave you or forsake you. I want you to understand that God is not just with you in the good times. God is not just with you when things are going great and when you can stand in service and lift up your hand. That God is with you in those moments where you don't know what to do and you don't have anybody to turn to, and the pain racks your body so much that you don't feel like you can live another day, and there's not enough money in the bank to pay your bills, and the friends that you thought were going to stick with you are long gone. I want you to understand, if you will stop at that moment and hesitate and close your eyes, you will recognize that the glory of God was in that place even when you did not recognize it. I want you to get this, that He is an ever-present help in a time of need. And God is here right now to remind you and tap you on the shoulder and say, I have not forgotten you. Your name is written down in the very palm of my hand. I know every hair on your head. I know every good and bad decision that you've made. I have not left you, even in the middle of your hurt, even in the middle of your anxiety, in the middle of all those things you were going through. Not once have I turned my head from you. God knows what you're going through. And I want you to understand that even in your worst times, the presence of God is still in your place. Jacob said, He was here, and I knew it not. Have you ever gone through those things in your life where you thought that you were all alone, but when you got to the end of that trial, when you got to the end of that trouble, when you got to the end of that situation, you were able to look back and say, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where I'd be. I couldn't have got through it had the peace of God not transcended my understanding. I couldn't have got through it had God not came in and touched me in a supernatural way that I couldn't manifest, I couldn't manipulate, I couldn't facilitate, I couldn't cause. I thought I was going to get stuck. If you grew up like I did, you had those old 33 records, and sometimes the needle got stuck and kept going. I thought I was there. I want you to get this. If you will stop and recognize, you will discover that God was at every moment in your life, even when you didn't recognize Him. I can remember in the year of 2000, I moved back to Tulsa in an unhealthy relationship with this church, but pastoring a small church of unhealthy people. Someone was here that was there, a couple of you, and they'll say amen. And I thought to myself, I closed my magazine that I had, so I didn't have any income except managing apartments. Never do that again. And pastoring this church, this old church that, to start off, I believe that when they hired me, they gave me $75 a week, I believe was my salary, something like that. It was big money. But I hadn't been feeling good. And so I went to the doctor. There was a doctor that was a friend. I didn't know any doctors in Tulsa. I went to this doctor that was a friend of one of the parishioners, and she took some blood work, and I came back in, and I can still remember the moment. I've never shared this. I've been a case manager for HIV patients and dealt with AIDS, and many of my friends died in the 1980s and then in the 90s from AIDS. And this doctor walked into that room and said, I've got bad news for you. I thought, well, she's going to say I have pneumonia or I've got the flu or something. She said, you have HIV, and I can't treat you because I don't know anything about it. I don't know where to tell you to go. Good luck. And walked out of my room. and I was abandoned. Sitting alone in that doctor's office, I can still remember reading the charts on that wall of heart disease and all these things. And the enemy whispered into my mind, this is it. You finally got it. Congratulations. The end is here. I walked out to my car, and I got in the car, and I turned it on. It so happened on the way to the doctor's office, I'd been listening to a McCamey's record, a McCamey's cassette at the time, believe it or not. And Peg McCamey was singing, life is easy when you're up on the mountain and you've got peace of mind like you've never known. But it's down in the valley of trials and temptations, that's when faith is really put to the test. I remember sitting there, and I got to do this now. I remember sitting there and thinking, wow, I wonder if that's really true. Because I feel like right now I'm in the deepest valley I've ever gone through. I've been given a death sentence, and I'm alone. I didn't call one friend. I didn't even call my mama. Didn't call anybody. For 3 months, nobody knew about it, just me. But then I remembered the verse, the chorus of that song. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley. When things go wrong, He'll make them right. And the God of the good times is still God in the bad times. Oh, the God of the day is still God in the night. And so when I left, driving down the road, I'm not a big old RU fan, so that you know, not a big old Roberts fan. Like some of his books, some of them I don't care for. But I was coming, the doctor's office was in Jinx, and so I had to come down Riverside. And I passed these big praying hands out front. And all of a sudden, I heard the Lord say, I was in this place, and you knew it not. I want you to understand that God's not always there just when things are going great and you can see.
That's right.
The important times to know is that God is there when you can't see, when you don't feel like anybody else is for you, and you feel like everybody else is against you, and you feel like church people turn their back on you, and you feel like your friends and relatives turn their back on you, and you don't know what. You've got to recognize that it was never their presence that you needed to depend on. It was the presence of God that you needed to depend on. You are going to have some flaky friends sometimes that show up when things are going good and disappear when things are going bad. But you've got to know that the presence of God is with you all the time, even when you don't recognize Him. Jacob said, the presence of the Lord was here and I knew it not.